the biggest concern from an Indian perspective is China and what's going down in China at this moment. There are so many reports about the number of COVID cases, the number of deaths as a consequence of COVID. There's also talk about the Chinese economy bouncing back and whether she's being moderated by domestic trouble. What's your reading of what's going down in China?
Well, there's no question. They've gone from zero COVID to everyone gets COVID in weeks, and they weren't ready for it. They didn't have therapeutics for people to take. They no longer were monitoring the numbers of cases that they were getting or the new variants that are showing up. And so for the rest of the world, China, for the second time as the epicenter of the global pandemic, just as they were in 2020, before they told anyone that they had human-to-human transmission, of course, that creates a lot of anxiety about the rest of the world and has led many other countries to say, okay, we're not going to let you travel unless you're testing and all the rest. But more broadly speaking, we do have to recognize that this was a decision taken by one individual leader, right? And he can do that in ways that are positive for the Chinese economy and positive for Chinese technology, but he could just as easily do that in ways that are negative. So it's the very fact that after his third term, suddenly everyone in the Chinese leadership system is loyal to Xi, accounts to Xi. He's not getting contrary. 10 years ago, China was still a dictatorship, but it was a dictatorship by consensus, where you had hardliners and you had more pragmatic technocrats on every issue, and they would be internally squabbling that would eventually come to a strategic long-term consensus. And we've been talking about how China, does policy for the long term, is, really considering what's going to matter on the global stage as it increases in power. You can't say that to the same degree when Xi Jinping has become a second Mao. That's just much harder to do.